Good evening, and welcome to all my credit repair followers. All of you guys who follow me on YouTube and on Facebook. Appreciate you. Once again, this is your boy, this is your friend, this is the credit doctor, Angelo McCutcheon, coming to you with another quick credit repair video. Now, first of all, I want to thank all of my followers, thank all of you guys who have been watching my videos on YouTube, my YouTube credit repair followers, and of course to my Facebook Live friends. Thank you guys for always following and encouraging words and using the information that we give you. But today, we're going to hop right into it. If you want to have any questions or comments, you can actually type them into the chat room. Come into the chat room and you can type it right in there. But we're going to talk about credit reports, right? Let's try to understand what is a credit report. And we're going to talk about how you can read a credit report, right? And how you definitely, once you understand how credit reports are outlined, it makes it easier for you if you're going to do disputes, knowing what to dispute based on information in your credit report, right? And we're going to talk about the credit, a little bit about the credit score. But we're going to talk about where credit reports come from and, how to read them and understand them and where to send your first dispute letters to if you find any inaccuracies on your credit report or anything to that nature. Excuse me. But that's where we're going to begin. So let's start. What is a credit report? Well, basically, a credit report is information that has been compiled about you by lenders and then sent to the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus then formulate that information into a report, and that report is going to tell you basically, it's going to give you your name or different versions of your name. It's going to give you the addresses that they say you've lived at, right? It's going to deal with phone numbers that you had down through the years, and in particular, jobs that you worked at, things like that. It's going to have your date of birth, your social, and those numbers will be matched a little bit. And then it's going to break off into the lenders, what lenders you've had that, you've gotten credit with, things like that. Then after that, it's going to kind of break down to any inquiries, right? If you applied for credit, the hard inquiries, the ones that you applied for, and then the soft inquiries are the ones in which potential lenders, excuse me, we'll look at your credit report and then decide whether they're going to give you credit or not. So that's going to be totally up to them, right? But that's basically the makeup of your credit report. Now, the credit report comes from three major agencies. There's some smaller ones, but the three major agencies is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. All right, that's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Those are the major three players. And again, there are some smaller ones, but those three, I'll just talk about those three because those are the major ones, right? And basically, what companies do, they sell your information to lenders. It's kind of funny because the way it works, because the credit bureaus get their information from the lenders. Lenders get that information when you apply for credit, any type of credit. So whenever you put your name down on an application, you put your social, you put your address, telephone number, all that information, then the lenders will send that to the credit bureaus. So every time you apply for something, they will send that information to the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus will store that information, right? And then let's just say somebody goes to that same lender and wants to get something else from them. They then are going to go to the credit bureaus for them to compile your history. Now, the credit bureaus get that information for free, but then they turn around and charge it to the very same people who gave them the information. So lenders, when they pull your credit report, have to pay a fee, right? Credit card companies, anybody who pulls your credit report basically have to pay a fee, right, for that information, even though they actually give them the information for free. But that's just, the way the money works. And again, the three major ones: Experian, which has been considered the big boys of the three, and then Equifax, and then TransUnion. They somewhat consider the baby of the bunch. And the only reason why they put it in that order because Experian they consider to be like the tough guys, make it harder for you to clean up your credit or things like that. Whereas it's easier to get things off from Equifax, and then easier from TransUnion. All right, but so they put it in that category of Experian as the big boys, Equifax, and then TransUnion. All right, just so you know, but they all report information about you that they receive from the credit bureaus. I'm sorry, that they receive from lenders sent to the credit bureaus. And so, again, when you're looking at, and again, most people are afraid to look at their credit bureau for a couple of reasons. One, they really don't understand how to read it, right? And number two, they're afraid that it's gonna be like when I sit down and give consultations. A lot of the my potential clients will say, well, I'm not. I've been afraid to look at my credit report. I know it's bad. I'm just afraid to look at it. All right. So a lot of times they're just afraid to look at it, and then the other reason being that they don't really know how to read it or understand it. So when they compile, or even when you want to see your credit report, they will try to charge you unless you're able to go to some monitoring sites that are free, or maybe get a credit report from your bank or something like that. But if you go directly to TransUnion, Equifax, Experience, they'll charge you about $12 or something, $13, whatever it is, for you to pull your credit report. Now, keep this in mind when you're dealing with the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus do not make money when it comes to cleaning up your credit. They don't make money cleaning up your credit. They only make money selling your information to potential lenders or even you yourself if you want to see your credit reports. Now, there is a place where you can go to get it free once every 12 months. Most people know that as the Annualcreditreport.com website, Annualcreditreport.com. You can go there, pull all three of your credit reports, right? And you can get them for free once every 12 months. During COVID, they had it to where you can get it every week. I don't believe they have that anymore, but during the COVID time, they had it where you can get it every week, right? But I don't think they still have that right now. But anyway, everybody should be looking at their credit reports, right? You know why? What is the number one reason why everybody should be looking at their credit report? Themselves. Yep. See, I can hear what you guys are saying. And you're absolutely right, because everybody else is looking at your credit report. Anytime you want to apply for something, everybody's pulling your credit report, right? So credit card companies, mortgage companies, auto companies, your cable bill, your light bill, your cell phone bill. No matter what you're applying for, everybody wants to see what your credit is. Your life insurance, your car insurance. Everybody wants to look at your credit report to see what's going on in there. So then it makes sense that you yourself should be looking at your credit reports. In order to fix it, you got to first know what's on there. You can't fix it if you don't know what's being reported. And we are in a time now where everybody's conscious, more so than ever, about their credit. More young people are involved at looking at their credit. More middle-aged people, and even some of our older senior citizens are concerned about their credit. So credit is important, very important. So if it's important to you, well, if it's important to the lenders, it better be important to you. You can't have the lenders looking at your credit report and you don't even know what's going on it. So everybody should be looking at their credit report at least minimum twice a year. And that's just at a minimum. There are some people who look at it consistently, which, hey, I applaud you for that. But a minimum, at least twice a year, you should be looking at it, because there are things that come on your credit report that are inaccurate information. Things that get reported are inaccurate or incomplete or errors. They may put somebody's else, light bill on your credit report. You don't know that. They've been known. Listen, when the whole credit bureau and credit reports were overlooked, or when they were, I don't want to use the word investigated, but this company came up and found out that 79% of things on credit reports have errors in them. 79% of credit reports have some type of error in them. And you know why it's like that? Because you got to remember, these credit bureaus, even though they hire hundreds of people to work at their facilities, but they have millions of consumer information passing through them on a daily basis. Million types of information being passed through hundreds of people, or even the machine that they have at the credit bureaus, the Oscar machines and stuff like that. So they're bound to make mistakes. They're bound to make mistakes. But here's the thing, though: when they make those mistakes, they let it fly by, and they're thinking, if you don't say anything about it, they're not going to say anything about it, because the only person that's going to be hurt is you. So when you understand that 79% of things found on credit reports are errors, that should really raise your eyebrows and say, I need to know, are there any errors on my credit report? And we've done a video already on how to spot errors, how to deal with errors on your credit report. But the thing I'm telling you today is you need to be looking at your credit reports at least twice a year, minimum, just at a minimum twice a year. And again, you can go to Annualcreditreport.com if you've never been there to pull your credit reports. And then if you have one of the monitoring services, you can actually go there, sign up for one of those monitoring services where you can look at your credit reports. Now, again, we know Credit Karma is the one that's out there that's free, right? But Credit Karma only gives you 2 of your reports for free. That's TransUnion and Equifax. And remember, they're third-party sources, right? So it's good to have because it's free and it kind of helps you to monitor. And we're going to do a whole video. We're going to do a show on the difference between Credit Karma and FICO, your Credit Karma score and your FICO score. We're going to do a video on that coming up. So all my YouTube people, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button right there. Right there. Hit that subscribe button right there. Hit that like and share button as well. But when you subscribe, every time I go live, it'll give you a notification and you can get this information to help you clean up your credit. Because you know what my motto is: you do not have to live with bad credit. Absolutely not. You do not have to live with bad credit. There are things that you can do to improve your credit score. And by following these videos that I'm doing, whether it's Facebook or whether it's my YouTube page or my podcast, I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me through my podcast. I've gotten over close to 5,000 downloads already, right? And people have encouraged me and emailed me. Some have even called me, told me how much they appreciate the information that we're giving them, right? Because we're not trying to sell you anything. We're just trying to give you information, right? And if you're interested in our service, we can talk about that after that. But right now, we just want to give you the information to let you know that, hey, if you want to do it yourself, we're going to give you some information to get you started. Right? At least get you started, and then you can do research to get the rest of the stuff. So all the topics and the things that I discuss is to give you a starting point, understanding how to repair your credit. That's all it is. I am not an attorney, so I don't give out legal advice. Absolutely, am not an attorney. I don't play one on YouTube either. So all the information I give you is for educational purposes only. If you need legal advice, then definitely recommend that you seek out a consumer attorney for that. All right. So I just want to make that disclaimer as well. So we're talking about understanding your credit reports, right? And Equifax, TransUnion, and Experience always outline your credit reports. And typically they break it down: your name, your address, your date of birth, your social, places that you've worked at, and things like that. That's usually the first part. It's usually called the information part of your credit report. And then you have the next part is like where your creditors are set up, right? Your credit card companies, your mortgages, your auto, loans and student loans or any type of loans gets in that second tier of your credit report, and that's going to tell you basically if you have positive items on your credit report. If you've been making your bills, paying your bills on time, that's going to show up. And it's going to also show negative items if you haven't been paying your bills on time, or if an account went into collection or charge-offs, things like that. It's going to have that part in there. So you got to know how to read it and understand the breakdown of your credit report. That's very important. Again, most people that I've encounter would say, I'm afraid to look at my credit report. I haven't looked at it for years, but I know it's bad. And sometimes when we sit down with them, it's usually not as bad as they think it is. Every now and then it is like they think it is, but in most cases, it's not as bad as they think it is. But because they're afraid to look at it, it hinders them from being able to actually start the process of cleaning it up. Hence, they continue to live with bad credit. Hence, they get denied for a lot of things they try to accomplish. And so you got to get to the point where you say, you know what? I gotta handle this. I gotta take care of this. I gotta know what's being reported on my credit report. Because again, the credit bureaus, hey, listen, if they make a mistake on your credit report, they're not going to fix it on their own. Trust me, they're not going to fix it on their own. Again, if you don't say nothing about it, they're not going to say nothing about it. But it's going to affect you more than it's going to affect them. Right? So there are some laws that govern what they're supposed to do, though. That's why you shouldn't be afraid of them. Most of you guys have heard me talk about the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Those are the two laws that govern what the credit bureaus can do and what they can't do when it comes to putting information on your credit report, what debt collectors can do and what they can't do when it comes to putting information on your credit report, what the original creditor can do and what they can't do when it comes to putting information on your credit report, and what you can do and what you can't do when it comes to disputing or having them investigate certain items on your credit report. So it covers everybody. But if you don't know you have some weapons out there, and the government's giving you a lot of power when these laws giving you a lot of power. The only problem is they just don't send these laws to your house, but they're out there. You got to just Google it, right? The Fair Credit Reporting Act or the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. The FDCPA is what the abbreviation. The other one is the FCRA, right? Abbreviation, but they're out there. And if you use them, and trust me, that's what I used when I started cleaning up my credit over 15 years ago. I used those two laws to help take my scores from the low 400s to the 800 plus. Just using those two laws. And it's the same way that we encourage and help our clients understand that they don't have to live with bad credit. Here are some ways that we deal with it and take care of it so that you can improve your credit score. And anything that's inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable should not be staying on your credit report. Those things should be fixed or deleted. And that's according to the law. Because the law says whatever goes on your credit report, it has to be what? 100% accurate. It has to be 100% accurate. If it's not accurate, then they have to fix it or they have to delete it from your credit report if they can't fix it. And a lot of times they just don't either have the time to fix it, right? Or they don't have the information, the correct information to fix it. Hence, it will get deleted from your credit report. And when we talk about just cleaning up your credit report, getting rid of those negative items on your credit report that are inaccurate, the whole process inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable. And the law says you have the right to dispute that information. If you feel something is not accurate, you have the right to dispute it. But if you don't know what's being reported on your credit report, how can you really fight it? How can you really dispute it if you don't know what's being reported on your credit report? And that's where a lot of people fall short. Just because they're afraid to look at it, just because they're afraid that things may show up that they don't want to see, it keeps them in fear of cleaning up their credit. But then when they go try to get a mortgage, the mortgage company going to look at it and they're going to say, hey, you got to clean this up. You got to clean that up. We can't give you that until you do this. Or they might say, we can give it to you, but there's going to be a big interest rate, 29% interest rate, 30% interest rate, 28% interest rate on your auto, on your mortgage, on this credit card. I'm telling you, it makes a difference what your score is. It makes a difference. Difference between 650 and a 700, 720 FICO score. It's a difference between paying 18% interest to all the way down to like a 5% interest on the same vehicle or mortgage or credit card, et cetera, et cetera. That's the difference. So knowing what's on your credit report, and we're going to close it up here, knowing what's on your credit reports is very important. Knowing what's on your credit reports or what's in it is very important, right? And then cleaning up things that I did a video on cleaning up your profile of your credit report, making sure that the only thing that's reporting when it comes to the information about you, your personal information, when it comes down to your name, right? You want to make sure your current name, the way you spell your name all the time, that's the way it should be shown on your credit reports. All those other versions of your name, you want that deleted. Addresses, you only want your current address reporting on all three credit reports. All the other addresses, you want them deleted from your credit report. Telephone numbers, you only want the current telephone number up there. All the other ones, you want deleted from your credit report. And that's just simple. Calling the credit bureaus. The best way is to call the credit bureaus and tell them, like, this is not the version of my name, how I spell my name, anything other than the way I spell it, and you let them know how it's spelled, you want deleted. So just having that conversation. Now, Experian, because they're the big boys, they make it difficult for you to remove addresses. I don't know why. They just make it different. Well, I kind of know why. For you to do address, unless you literally did not live there, they will say, hey, did you live there? If you say yes, well, we really can't take it off. But go back and watch my video on how to clean up your profile, and we give you remedies on how to do that. So again, to all of you guys, make sure you pull your credit report. You should be looking at your credit report at least minimum twice a year. That just at a minimum twice a year. And you can always go to the annual, if you've never been to the annualcreditreport.com site, go there, or you can call them up. They have a number. Just Google the number. They have a number you can call, and you can get your number. You can get your credit reports ordered over the phone, but it's free. You can get it all three of them once every 12 months. All right, so appreciate you guys listening. And you know, all these videos I'm doing is StreamYard. So if you, again, if you're watching this on my page, on my Facebook Live personal page, in order to comment, you would have to click on the link. There's a link above my description that says if you want to comment inside the chat room where I'm at, you have to click on that link and just give them permission to allow your comments to come into the chat room. All right. Other than that, if you're commenting, I don't see it until I get off the stream, and then I can go back into my Facebook and answer any questions you may have. But the best way is to click on that link, come right into the StreamYard chat room where I'm at, and then we can comment, see the comments. YouTube, you know, you can just text your comments in there, and we can see that in the chat room, and it goes straight to us. All right. So with that in mind, you guys have a blessed evening. Whatever you do, stay blessed. But what's even more important is that you are a blessing.